Hello everybody, my name's Bill. This is Rust to Resurrection. Short video today. I thought I'd give you an update on the plans for this Dauntless V6 that goes in my 1966 CJ5 Tuxedo Park. I've had some time to think about this. So if you've been following the CJ5 restoration series, then you will remember from a previous video that I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to handle this, because I told you the story about how 47 years ago when I took this thing apart, I had big plans to make this into a hot rod engine, and probably not going to do that. So the engine only has a little over 45,000 miles on it. At least that's what the odometer says. I bought this Jeep when it was 7 years old, 6 years old. So I'm pretty confident that it didn't roll the odometer over in that amount of time. This was a strong running engine back when I had it all together and when I was using the Jeep on a regular basis. So I've had some time to really ponder this. I've talked to some folks that I know, and I've done some research on V6s and on the kind of performance parts that are available for this thing. And there's quite a bit, but my decision has been made. I want to rebuild an engine. So I've talked about this in a couple videos. I want to rebuild an engine. It's a bucket list thing. So I'm going to do that. So because the compression check or test came out really pretty good, and you can go back in the CJ5 playlist and you can see that where I did the compression check on this thing. Because the compression check came out pretty solid and everything is functioning and working as it should, my decision was to not do anything too radical with the V6. So what I'm going to do is I am going to tear it down. I am going to dismantle it. One of my concerns that doesn't go away is that this thing has sat in a cold environment in New England for a long time. And I want to make sure that the block hasn't cracked or split because the water might have frozen in it. Now this thing had antifreeze. I always ran antifreeze. I don't know how much of the antifreeze dissipated, drained out, went away, but I want to make sure that I don't throw bad money after worse money, and I want to make sure that this block is intact, that it's in good enough shape to rebuild it. So the plan is mostly to do a rebuild using all stock equipment. So I'm not going to, if I don't need to, if the cylinders are in good shape, if they're in tolerance, I'm just going to dingle ball them, just do some kind of a hone job that would allow the cylinder walls to be improved, put in some new rings, some new bearings, all of that kind of simple stuff, and then begin to put it all back together a little bit at a time. That is the plan. Now, they do make a performance cam for this engine. It's not a real high performance profile, but it does add some upper end horsepower to the engine. And I may do that. I may replace the cam in this thing. I may replace the intake in this. I may replace the carburetor. Carburetor is going to have to be completely rebuilt either way. I don't know yet, but that's stuff that we'll kind of talk about as we get further into the rebuild. The first thing I got to do is just tear it down, and I want to bring you guys along for that process as I do that now. So I've already started buying some stuff. This is the feel-good stuff. So I bought a set of new stickers for the valve cover stickers for the Jeep. It is a little bit, they are a little bit different. They seem to be just a little bit bigger, but they're a really nice reproduction. I got that out of Vintage Jeeper. So Not sponsored, so Vintage Jeeper, if you're watching this, thank you for a really nice reproduction. Colors are really nice and sharp. So that is something we are going to also do restoration. We'll do some videos on restoring these valve covers as well. I also bought some paint, engine paint, that is supposed to be the original Dauntless V6 engine paint. I got that from the Jeepster Man. So again, the Jeepster Man, thank you. Again, not sponsored, but I did get some paint. So we'll start repainting this engine as we sort of go through it. And you can see that it's very, very close in color to the original. So I'm going to be happy with that. Now, if you follow my videos over on 6 Round Studio where I restore firearms, I generally tend, when I restore a firearm, is not to dismantle the entire thing into 1,000 pieces and throw them into one big box. I generally tend to tear down a firearm and restore it in groups of parts, and I'm probably going to do the same thing here. We'll pull the heads off, we'll put them aside. I'm not going to do anything with those heads until we get to that part where we're going to do whatever we're going to do, whether we put new guides in or any of that. I don't know that yet. Again, I am not an expert. I've never rebuilt an engine before, so I'm going to rely a lot on my community for support. You guys kind of tell me as I go through this what you think I ought to do with a 45,000 mile engine. What do you think should be replaced? What shouldn't be replaced? Like all of you, money is an object. I can't. This is not any kind of money you can imagine bill. I have to be kind of thoughtful and conservative about this. So I want to do all that, and my community, if you guys want to contribute to this, and your thoughts, if you've done engine rebuilds before, low mileage engines, high mileage engines, any comments that you make would always be appreciated. Now, all of this is going to be done in small sections. Like I said, we'll rebuild or restore the valve covers. I'll do that. I'll paint them. We'll do a video on just doing that. This oil pan, going to get that off. That's going to be, one of the early things that we do take off. That's pretty crusty. I don't know how good the metal surfaces are on that. I'm not sure I can clean it up enough to make it pretty and paint it, but we're going to try. You'll see how that goes. So once we get this thing torn down, get the block separated from everything else, I want to send it out to get it clean and Magnaflux to make sure that there's no cracks in this thing. So if the block is cracked, I mean, it's game over. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do with this. I do have that other V6 engine in the garage. I don't know if the blocks are compatible, if they're the same or not. But anyway, fingers crossed. I think based on how everything else has been on this engine, I think that we're going to be fine. I'm doubting that there's going to be any cracks in the block, but I still want to make sure that we've done all the testing and research that we can. All right, so what are we going to do next? Well, I am going to start dismantling it. Now, that's not going to be, I'm not going to be doing the engine teardown videos one right after another. I've got other work I want to do on these Jeeps, so this will be squeezed in with the other projects that we're doing. So we're going to start tearing this down, start restoring things, like I said, the valve covers, the pan, at the same time that I'm tearing this thing down. That is the update. Going to be a really pretty mild rebuild. I'm going to not try to get too radical on this thing like I initially planned. I want to spend more time focused on the chassis and the body and all that other stuff, and not get too bogged down in building a really high performance motor that doesn't need to be in that CJ5. Anyway, that's my update. That's where we're at. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know. Just let me know. I am curious. One of the things that I've noticed is that my community is growing. I'm getting a lot of folks that are subscribers that are sticking through the entire videos, and a lot of you guys are making comments that have been really helpful, so I appreciate all that. Guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next video. We're going to go back on that toolbox, by the way. We're going to get that painted up and mounted, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.